Summer Robin will be our newest support in Honkai Star Rail, and you may be wondering, what are Robin's best teams? First, let's quickly go over how Robin works and what buffs she provides for her team. Robin has a stack mechanic referred to as vibes, which the more vibes you have, the stronger her buffs will become. You gain vibes when an ally attacks an enemy, heals, or provides shields for the first time in any target's turn. And at E0, you can have up to 50 vibes. Once you reach 12 vibes in battle, Robin will enter the fever state where she will no longer take action, and instead her memo sprite, the Summer Songbirds, will have a turn. In this turn, they'll attack all enemies, and there will also be a countdown on the action order. When it's the countdown's turn, you will lose 50% of the vibes you have, so teams that are able to attack often and generate more vibes for Robin will be able to nicely take advantage of a higher amount of vibes throughout combat. Now, you may be wondering what buffs Robin is able to provide, which, based on the number of Summer Songbirds on the field, the damage taken by all enemies will increase up to 16%. She gives the entire team Defense Shred from the Fever State zone, which the strength of this buff is based on how many vibes she has. Then for her ultimate, she'll be able to provide 100% action advance and energy for an ally. And whenever an ally causes Robin to gain vibes, they'll gain an attack buff if their attack is higher than Robin's. Otherwise, they will get a crit damage buff, which is very useful for characters who would benefit more from the crit damage buff, for example, elation characters or characters that scale off of HP. On top of this, depending on your light cone option, she'll provide even more buffs from there. As a result, Robin has very universal buffs that can benefit a large variety of teams, and starting with our first team, we have Mono Remembrance. This team will feature Castorice, Evernight, Summertime Robin, and Hyacine. And this will actually give Cyrene an opportunity to now move to a different team if, let's say, you had another Castorice team. For example, let's say you have a Castorice team and you may also have a Phainon team. You could put Robin on your Castorice team now to freely move Cyrene to the Phainon team. As for what Robin will be able to provide for this team, she'll be able to increase the damage taken by all enemies by 16%. She'll give the entire team Defense Shred as well, which Castorice, Evernight, and Hyacine can all benefit from to further increase their damage output. As for her ultimate, since it does provide 100% action advance and energy for an ally, this can actually be a good opportunity for you to advance forward Evernight, and providing the additional energy for Evernight will be useful for the uptime of the Darkest Riddle state, which is through Evernight's ultimate. And on top of this, if you do advance forward Evernight, then she'll also be able to get more Memoria as well, resulting in more damage output. On top of this, Robin will be able to increase the crit damage of all allies on the team as they are HP scaling. So as long as Robin's attack is higher than Castorice, Evernight, and Hyacine's attack, they will get an additional crit damage boost. And Robin herself is also able to benefit from the buffs from this team as well, to further increase her own damage output when it is the Summer Songbird's time to attack. And due to the attacking frequency of this team, they'll be able to nicely generate vibes for Robin, resulting in you being able to take advantage of a higher percentage from the Defense Shred buff. Since if you have 50 vibes, you will get a 40% Defense Shred buff for the entire team. So this will nicely boost the damage output of the entire team. Now for those that may prefer Evernight as their main damage dealer, we also have a team for that as well, which would consist of Evernight, Cyrene, Robin, and then Hyacine. So pretty similar team, but we're bringing Cyrene back to further buff Evernight. And also, if you do pair Cyrene alongside Robin, a nice thing about Robin is, due to the fact that she is a remembrance character, she can actually nicely help out with getting more recollection stacks for Cyrene, resulting in you being able to nicely take advantage of Cyrene's ultimate. And this will also apply to other teams as well that may include both Robin and Cyrene. This team is just mainly focusing on buffing Evernight as much as they can. We can use the ultimate on Evernight once again to get her more Memoria, as well as getting her more energy so that she's able to use her ultimate more often throughout the fight. Hyacine will be able to provide frequent healing. Little Eco will also be able to deal considerable damage onto enemies as well. And of course, the After Rain state will increase the entire team's max HP, which all of these characters on this team are HP scaling, so they can nicely take advantage of this to increase their damage output even further. Here we have another team featuring Cyrene and Robin, and this time it'll be alongside Aglaea. For your last slot, you can either go Sustainless, so you will have another support character on the team, or you can just have a sustainable team. Now, when it comes to an Aglaea team, you can actually nicely benefit from all the buffs that Robin is able to provide. Robin's ultimate provides action advance as well as energy, which it'll be 20% of a character's max energy. So in the case of Aglaea, she'll get a nice amount of energy from Robin. This will nicely help out with you being able to use Aglaea's ultimate more often, or just even in the case of having an easy time with maintaining the Supreme Stand state from Aglaea's ultimate. Aglaea, of course, will also be able to nicely take advantage of the vulnerability debuff from the Summer Songbirds being on the field, and then on top of this, of course, the defense shred. Aglaea will also be able to attack frequently, which will nicely benefit Robin when it comes to being able to get more vibes, and also benefit Cyrene in the case of getting more points of recollection. Now, a specific thing I actually want to mention in regard to using Robin with Hyacine. They actually have a special synergy, which the attack buff that Robin is able to provide an ally will be based on Robin's vibes as well as her max HP. Now, something that Hyacine is able to do is with her ultimate, she'll provide the after rain save for the entire team, which will boost the max HP of all allies by 30%. And as a result, Robin can actually take advantage of this to give a much larger attack buff to whoever gains Robin vibes, resulting in Hyacine and Robin having a special synergy when it comes to not only the HP scaling teams, but even if you are using Robin alongside an attack scaling damage dealer, Hyacine could be a very nice slot in that scenario as well. Plus, on top of that, since Hyacine is able to attack often, this will result in you gaining more vibes for Robin. Here's another team featuring both Cyrene and Robin. This time we have Phainon, which there's a very specific interaction that Phainon and Robin will have that we'll get into shortly. And as for our last slot, I would recommend a character like Cyrene. And as you've noticed, any cases where there might be a slot for Remembrance Trailblazer, you can actually use Robin in the place of Remembrance Trailblazer and now move them to a different team instead if you would like, or you can use a different path that Trailblazer may have. And now when it comes to Robin and Phainon, so Phainon will be able to nicely take advantage of the defense shred from Robin's kit, as well as of course the attack buff. Throughout the fight, Robin will lose 50% of her vibe when it is the countdown's turn on the action order. However, if you use her with Phainon and Phainon departs all allies, the countdown will no longer be on the action order, which means you'll be able to fully take advantage of the buffs from Robin without worrying about your vibes reducing. And on top of this, Phainon will also be able to gain more vibes for Robin as well during the departed state. So let's say you use Phainon's ultimate and you aren't at 50 vibes with Robin just yet, you will still be able to gain more vibes with Robin even during the departed state, and no other allies are taking turns except for Phainon. So he'll be able to take full advantage of the buffs that she provides. And a thing to note with Robin's ultimate is when you do use her ultimate on an ally, they will gain the special guest effect. This effect will allow them to now gain 2 additional vibes for Robin, and this will last for multiple turns. So in the case of Phainon, if you give him the special guest effect by using Robin's ultimate on him, this will result in Phainon being able to continuously gain more vibes for Robin. So overall, a pretty cool interaction when it comes to using Phainon and Robin together, so I definitely did want to make a note of that in regard to her vibes mechanic. You can also use Robin with characters like Mighty and Naxa and so on. And now for teams outside of the Chrysos heirs, let's go over the Fate characters. So Robin is a very strong teammate that you can use alongside Gilgamesh and Saber, and then you can either use a sustain or go sustainless. If you do use a sustain, nice options could be Hyacine, Hua, and so on. But the reason why Robin is a very nice option for both Gilgamesh and Saber is due to the fact that she is able to provide team-wide buffs when it comes to defense shred, being able to inflict the vulnerability debuff onto enemies depending on how many Summer Songbirds are on the field. And then on top of this, Robin is also going to be able to provide energy for an ally with her ultimate as well as 100% action advance. It can result in more frequent ultimates, and then also, since Saber and Gilgamesh will be able to gain vibes for Robin, they'll also get an additional attack buff on top of this as well. So Robin can be a very nice option to use alongside both of them. And now we also have the Archer team with Robin, which I have the little stickers lined up in this particular way for a reason, but you can either go with a sustainless team, so going Archer, Rin, Sparkle, and then Summertime Robin. Or if you do decide to replace one of the characters and keep a sustain on the team, I would lean more toward replacing Sparkle on this team and then using Archer and Rin together alongside Robin. So this could be an option that you go for as well, which, similar to the other teams, Archer and Rin are going to be able to take advantage of the defense shred from Robin, the vulnerability debuff from the Summer Songbirds, and then also, of course, on top of that, the additional energy and action advance as well. And real quick before we go over the next team, if you do plan to top up in version 4.5, I wanted to make a quick mention of Aniba. I have been using Aniba now for a couple of months, and Aniba is in 100% compliance with Hoyoverse's policies and is a safe way to get more pulls, and there's also cash back. All you have to do is type in your UID, pick the pack you'd like to purchase, and boom, there we go. And with Aniba's cash back, this can let you get even more pulls. All you have to do is go to your order, claim cashback, and now you can use your cashback to purchase even more Oneric shards. I wanted to say thank you to Aniba for sponsoring today's video, and now let's carry on. Now we have Himiko Nova, which Robin is also a very nice pair alongside Himiko as well, as Robin is going to be able to provide Himiko with more attack, provide her with the defense shred, as well as also being able to provide the vulnerability debuff and the action advance and additional energy. So very similar benefits ranging from all of the teams mentioned so far on how they can benefit from Robin. Now, in the particular case of using Robin alongside Himiko, do keep in mind that Robin is not an Astral Express member. So because of that, you do need to make sure you have at least one more Astral Express member on this team for Himiko Nova so that she can take advantage of one of her companion protocols. Which I would say some of the best options you can go with is, let's say you use Don Hong PT as your sustain. That could be a really nice option. You can also use Welt. That can also be a very nice option alongside Himiko Nova. If you don't have Welt, or maybe your Welt isn't fully invested, whatever it may be, you could also consider using a character like Sunday if you did want to go maybe a Himiko team with Sunday Robin and then a sustain of choice. But do make sure you have at least one more Astral Express member on the team, as Himiko will lose out on a large portion of her kit, which is the companion protocol aspect of her kit, if you do not have at least one more Astral Express member. Robin can also be used on Elation teams, as she'll be able to provide the defense shred once again, and for Elation teams, they'll be able to nicely take advantage of the crit damage boost. So ideally, Robin has more attack than your Elation characters on the team, so they can take advantage of the crit damage boost. And then, of course, Robin will also be able to provide the action advance and energy from her ultimate. Now, what you can actually end up doing in particular with an Elation team is advancing forward a character like Yao Guang, as this will result in Yao Guang also getting more energy, resulting in her being able to use her ultimate sooner, and Yao Guang's ultimate will be able to trigger Aha Instant. You could also end up going with a sustainless team if you wanted to use, let's say, Evanescia or Silverwolf, Yao Guang, Robin, and then let's say Elation Trailblazer. That could also be an option, but if you do want to use a sustain, a very nice option you can consider using is Huohua. And now we have Ashveil, Blade, and Robin alongside Hyacine, which in this particular team, similar to the other teams, they can take advantage of the defense shred, which in this particular team, what's really nice is that Ashveil and Blade already provide team-wide defense shred, which in the case of Blade, it's 30%, in the case of Ashveil, it's 40%. So with Robin, you're going to easily be able to provide 100% defense shred for the entire team, as Blade and Ashveil are both frequent attackers, meaning that you'll be able to nicely gain more vibes for Robin and have a higher defense shred percentage for the entire team. So because of that, the entire team can take advantage of 100% defense shred, and then of course in the case of Hyacine, she's going to be able to provide more HP for the entire team with the After Rain state, which means a larger attack buff for Ashveil. And in the case of Blade, he's also going to be able to benefit from the After Rain state, as he is also HP scaling. And if your Robin's attack is higher than Blade's, then Blade would also get that additional crit damage boost instead of an attack boost as well. So this is also a very powerful team you can consider using. They're going to be able to nicely gain vibes for Robin, as all the characters on this team are frequent attackers, so they can nicely generate more vibes for Robin, further increasing the strength of her buffs. And then of course, Robin also provides the energy and action advance with her ultimate as well, resulting in more ultimate usage from your characters on top of that. If you don't have Blade and you do plan to pull Aventurine Waveflair, and maybe you already have Ashveil, you can actually do this team as well, where you use Aventurine Waveflair, Ashveil, Robin, and Hyacine, or whatever other sustains you may have on your account. And in this case, Aventurine will be able to nicely benefit from the buffs that Robin provides, further boosting his damage output, and this can be an option if you do not have Blade on your account. Then you can go with this team right here. Or you could even go with a sustainless team of Aventurine Waveflair, Ashveil, Mortal X Blade, and then Robin. I will say in that particular scenario though, if you do have Mortal X Blade already on your account and you do plan to pull Robin, if you don't have many supports outside of them, I would more than likely lean more toward having Robin on one team and then having Mortal X Blade on a different team, just in the case of 3-team endgame, so that you have a very powerful support on at least 2 of your teams as a result. But this can be, once again, another team option. And when it comes to even more teams, you can use Summertime Robin alongside Zila, Phainon, Acheron. She can basically be used on majority of teams without many issues, and is just generally a very nice flexible option for your teams. And I would love to know if you are going to be pulling Summertime Robin, and if you enjoyed this video, do make sure to subscribe, leave a like to support today's video, and I hope to see you all next time. Peace.